Hello, sometimes it's difficult to go beyond what we consider our duty, the thing which we have to do, which we want to do. And this may sometimes be the very essence, this going beyond. And Jesus is demonstrating us this thing because Jesus came for preaching, for saying a good word, for healing other people, for throwing away the bad spirits. But in fact, he thinks above, he thinks beyond that. He thinks how they will be able to go back to home with not sufficient food. And this which is a very moving thing because he's all the time occupied. He really occupied with all people. He did his work, his job perfectly and good. And why to bother with other things? But Jesus decides to do that. And this is his very essence, because sharing bread, sharing himself with us, is that what Jesus is truly himself. Okay? And I was trying to think about situations in which we can go beyond, and so to share the very essence of being human. And I thought about one history which occurred almost 30 years ago, as I was 18 or something like that. And I was in Finland. This was time when the differences in prices in Poland and Finland were striking. So we had to take for our trip on bikes all the food from Poland because we couldn't afford for buying food in Finland. It was too costly. And then it happened. After 800 kilometers, I had an accident. I fall from the bike on my head, and it was devastating, but we couldn't afford that going to hospital with the bike, so we expected some days, almost 1 week in the tent. But I had really problems with my head and my wounds, and so we decided to go to the hospital. And the doctor and the help of the doctor, how it says, they did their work. They had the tomography, they had bounded my wounds and so on. And then after 1 day I could go home. During the stay in the hospital for 1 day, I couldn't afford the food. It was not included as it was the case in Poland, even with my assecuration. And then I forgot the word. This is the help of the doctor, helped me with sharing food with me, so I can't resist. And the next thing was that because we hadn't took so much food from our bikes, because bikes were our way of transporting things, and the doctor did his things, but he thought about that, and we thought how we would come back to our bikes. He asked us, and knowing that we don't have resources, he gave us money for taking a taxi so that we would be able to go back to our bikes. So after almost 30 years, I couldn't forget this thing. This was me as a being real human. It's not only doing the work, doing the job, the duty, but be able going above that. And what do you think?